Love the game or hate it, Sonic Frontiers is the most successful modern Sonic game in a long time, and as a result will likely be what future games will build themselves off of. Now, I don't know about you, but personally, I really enjoy Frontiers, so this is only a good thing for me. This is the best 3D Sonic has controlled in a long time. Specifically after the second update that tweaks his controls though, mind you, because before that he controlled, fine I guess? So anyway, let's stop yapping and get to the point already. I know a lot of Sonic fans really want to see Sonic Adventure free, and I think Frontiers is the game that could be the backbone that holds SA free up. Now, I want to make it clear, despite what people may tell you about me, I'm not psychic. This video is speculation, and if the next 3D game that gets announced is not SA free, please don't sue me. To be honest, I probably could have just named this video how Sonic Frontiers lays the groundwork for the next game, but saying Sonic Adventure free instead will probably get me more clicks, so sorry, I guess. So, here's a question for the class. What's a big thing that defines a Sonic Adventure game that Frontiers has brought back to the series? That's right, fishing minigame. Multiple playable characters. Do you all remember the video I made where I gave my thoughts on Frontiers before it came out and how I dismissed my hopes of DLC adding more playable characters as being just copium? Yeah, I love being wrong sometimes. Frontiers' DLC allows you to play as Tails, Knuckles, and Amy for the first time in a 3D game since 06. True, at the launch of this DLC, Knuckles controlled like absolute ass, but Big Kishimoto has since dropped a patch, meaning I can finally glide as Knuckles without having to consider trying to learn how to glide in real life. Into the Bermuda Triangle. My point being that Kishimoto proved multiple playable characters is completely doable again. Sure, the other characters don't have as many bells and whistles as Sonic, but neither did they in the adventure game, so nothing changes there really. Although if they were expanded on in the next game, that'd be pretty nice. Frontiers also introduced us to the open zone, which consists of multiple different islands. I'd like to suggest the idea that in Sonic Adventure 3, every character could have an open zone area similar to the islands in Frontiers to explore that caters to their abilities. Sonic's open area could be full of slopes that require high speed, Knuckles' open area could require a lot of climbing, and Tails could have a lot of high platforms that need flight to reach, and so on. Frontiers had 5 islands, so I'd say Adventure 3 could look at having 5 campaigns. Obviously, there'd be a Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Amy campaign, and the character work for them is all done in Frontiers, so you can just kind of bring them over. But for a 5th character, what could we possibly see? Shadow, maybe? Please, Sega, I just want my edgy son to be playable again. Yeah, I know he was in Forces, but that's Sonic Forces. Do you really want to go there to get your Shadow fix? It's probably a way to catch some nasty diseases. And if Shadow's too predictable for you, people like Blaze, or I think Silver is overdue his second chance by this point. Obviously, you couldn't just copy-paste the characters from Frontiers to SA3 though, some changes would need to be made. Notably, we'd have to cut the Psyloop, I know, big sad. But I figure you'd probably want something to replace the quick Psyloop move, because that thing is both useful and fun, and every hack-and-slash game needs to have its signature launcher attack. Maybe you could give Sonic a tornado attack, or use his speed to slide into an enemy and launch them that way, for example. Also, I think just some more visual flair would be nice to add to the mix. And also, this combat desperately needs a rebalance. How easy it is to delete enemies with the Sonic Boom and Cross Slash is laughable, and don't even get me started on what happens when you get the Final Horizons character's attack stat past 5. This brings me into the next thing. For whatever game comes next, please scrap the stats. One of Frontiers' bigger problems is how the game struggles to balance itself around the stats, making every enemy and boss either a cakewalk or a Herculean task. Pre-patch King Coco trial. Just keep everyone at a reasonable level of power and balance the whole game around that level of strength. Don't you dare make me grind everything to level 99 again, Kishimoto. I think most will agree the new version of the Spin Dash in Frontiers is probably the definelty to the boost. To some fans' immense joy, I imagine. The Frontiers Spin Dash gives you the best of both worlds in a big way, which is why I'm going to make the bold claim that the other characters shouldn't have the Spin Dash, and instead should have their special boost variants. The Drill Boost on Knuckles, the card game's R motorcycles for Amy, and the Cyclone for Tails. But you might want to nerf Tails' version and also decrease the wind-up time on Amy's card boost since it takes a while to get started. Knuckles' is fine though. F this game, I'm going to space. As for any other playable character, I wouldn't know what you'd do with them, maybe give them the classic boost or their own unique thing. If the 5th playable character would be Shadow, I think it could be interesting if either A, he was the hard mode character with harder platforming and combat to challenge the player, Or B, he's the God Mode character who's stupid overpowered and steamrolls the game for a fun power trip. Both are completely different, but either works. Now, like Sonic Frontiers, I think how you'd approach things is having multiple open maps with a handful of traditional Sonic levels hidden within. Now that I think about it, the open zone actually has a lot more in common with the adventure fields of SA1 than I first thought. As mentioned earlier, each character could get an open map with a selection of levels designed around their abilities. They'd probably all have somewhere between 6 to 9 levels each, and I think like SA1, Sonic would probably end up having more stages than everyone else because it is a Sonic game at the end of the day, and you'd probably want him to have the longest campaign. Hell though, maybe every character could share one big open map, and their levels are all in areas they can only reach by using their unique abilities. The adventure field itself can be full of collectibles and secrets as well. How a campaign could play out is that in old-fashioned Sonic style, the goal of the campaign would be to play through all the levels to unlock the final fight of the campaign, and you could unlock the levels by finding keys in platforming challenges around the map. This could be the replacement for the memory tokens. And like Frontiers, a selection of puzzles are used to unlock the map. As for combat, I think you'd need enemies. Yes, past me writing this script. You don't think it'd need enemies, it would just need enemies outright. Anyway, I digress. So, assuming we're going back to good old Eggman robots for this game, I think more enemy variety would be nice to spice up the game's combat, because most of the non-boss enemies in Frontiers were one-homing attack jobbers, and while it's fine and I dare say necessary for such enemies to exist, some tanky bruisers around them would be nice as well. As for bosses, I'd want to see more bosses like Ninja and Tower than, say, Shark or Caterpillar. Bosses that are more all-out brawls where you're looking for openings rather than enduring the enemy's turn until it's your turn to move. As for the final bosses of everyone's campaigns, they could end in a sort of Titan-esque style fight. Now, it probably wouldn't be the same thing as a Titan fight, mainly because I doubt we'll ever see Super Tails, Knuckles, and Amy in a modern game because Sega hates fun, but they could still be fights against bigger, more powerful opponents with a heavy focus on spectacle. You could absolutely still do this with a boots-on-the-ground character, Metal Gear Rising is proof enough of that, and I think we'd have Super Sonic end up becoming an end-of-game thing again, but since in Frontiers the combat controls the same whether you're Sonic or Super Sonic, it's just that Super Sonic's animations have a bit more flair to them, I don't think it'd be a big problem here. Maybe you could allow them to be used in the overworld once you've beaten the game or 100%ed it, as that was a highly requested feature for Frontiers that didn't get to be added into the game. So we're going to step out of the realm of actual critique and estimated guesses to talk about random ideas that are more me just spitballing fun ideas I think would be neat rather than what I actually think the next big Sonic game will actually do. So with that said, one idea I'd like to pitch is the assist mechanic. So Sonic has a lot of friends, right? And obviously we can't have all of them be playable in every game, that's just plain absurd. It's a sad reality that unless your favorite is Sonic, they probably aren't going to be playable in every game. So let's strike a compromise. I think it'd be cool to be able to find Sonic's friends around the adventure field, and they could give you side quests that when you complete, you are rewarded with the ability to call them in for an assist move. Each character could have different abilities that could help in different ways in both the open zone and the levels. You could even possibly have the other playable characters you're not playing as be assists as well. It's kinda similar to the Sonic's Friends missions in Sonic Generations. Try to reach the high road in a level and you miss your jump? Call Tails for an assist to fly you up there. Silver could use his psychic powers to throw you, Big could use his rod to grab things far away, Blaze could make you fire immune for a short time, and so on. You could also use this as an opportunity to bring some of the IDW cast in. Tangle's tail could be used as an assist for swinging around, and Whisper's Wisp-On could do a whole number of things. I think this is a fun and varied USP to replace the Psyloop, and it could possibly come with some combat application as well. It would allow the non-plot relevant characters a 15-minute spotlight in a Yakuza-style sub-story to shout out the fans of those characters as well. Another cool idea is that for post-launch content, you could release a DLC island with a new playable character. Maybe you could put Silver there. Call it Sonic Adventure 3, Future Connected or something. Silver is a character whose very gimmick requires a lot more technical depth, so making them a post-launch DLC could be a good way to experiment with how he plays, or any other character they pick. I'm mainly just using Silver as an example here. Now, while that's pretty much the main meat of what I wanted to say, I wanted to address a few quick things. Now, the first of these being, what could the story be? The adventure games are known for being surprisingly narratively focused, and while I could talk for ages about how Sonic's storytelling works, I'm simply going to leave it to whatever Ian Flynn cooks next, because I think he's going to be the series writer for a good while now. Of course, I want to address the Chow Garden, because everyone always goes crazy for the Chow Garden. My stance on if the next Sonic game, Sonic Adventure 3, whatever it is, should have a Chow Garden or not, stands at if it can be added without having to sacrifice development time from the main game. If there's time within whatever deadline Sonic Team is given, hopefully a reasonable one, because most of the time they get a deadline of about 5 minutes from now, then sure, get the Chow Garden in there. But if the main game isn't the best it can be, I can live without the Chow Garden personally. So yeah, that's my idea of how a Sonic Adventure 3 could look if it's using Sonic Frontiers as a base. I really love Sonic Frontiers, and if it's the baseline for the franchise's future, I am more than welcoming to it. I want to clarify, I'm not a professional game designer or anything, but knowing what little I know about development, I tried to dream up concepts that are both unique and believably possible. So yeah, I'm Ramen Ronin, and if you enjoyed, be sure to smash the like button, check out my other content, subscribe if you enjoy it, yada yada, you know the script, and I'll see you next time I think of something to yap about.